Hello again. I believe that marriage between one man and one woman who remain faithful to each other for the rest of their lives and have babies together is the ideal family life. I do not hate or despise those who opt for other lifestyles, but I think this one is the best and an ideal to aim at. I also hold strongly to the view that there are, with very rare exceptions, such as those born with Klinefelter syndrome or other rare conditions, just two clearly delineated genders, that is to say, male and female. Incredible to relate, saying this in public could result in my being arrested and taken to court, which is an absolutely scandalous state of affairs. Consider the case of Christian street preacher David McConnell, who was reading from the Bible in the centre of Leeds on the 8th of June 2021. He may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. He was preaching, something he does a lot of. He's been a street preacher for 15 years now. He was talking about what we should do to be saved. I don't personally agree with a lot of what he was saying. He's an evangelical Christian whose views are probably a lot less tolerant than mine. I don't care if men wear women's clothes or two guys want to get in the sack together. To people like David McConnell, though, that kind of thing is an abomination. He was not talking about that, though, but rather going on about the kingdom of heaven, when somebody called Farah Munir approached him and asked, does God accept the LGBT community? This was a deliberate attempt to trap the preacher into talking about homosexuality and transsexualism, because Farah Munir is a biological male wearing women's clothes and posing as a woman. Fine, I don't care, but it was obviously going to get the evangelical street preacher worked up, and McConnell duly talked about homosexuality being a sin and how wrong it was for a man to wear women's clothes and about what sort of practices are an abomination to the Lord and all the rest of it. Well, that's what evangelical Christians are like, of course, as I'm sure that Farah Munir knew. Once he had said these things, then Munir went off and found a police officer and claimed to have been alarmed, distressed and harassed, which is obviously raving mad. It was she, or he, who had harassed the street preacher. All the interactions that they had been initiated by Munir, and until she started talking about LGBTQ stuff, nothing had been said on the subject. The main offence seemed to have been that David McConnell referred to Farah Munir as a man, thus misgendering him or her, to use the modern jargon, and it was that which caused his arrest and subsequent conviction for causing harassment, alarm or distress to Farah Munir. Thankfully, he has now had this conviction overturned on appeal, but I think it was a shocking thing for him to be convicted in the first place. Have you in all your life ever heard anything like it? Here was a Christian preaching from the Bible, and an Afghani guy dressed in women's clothing goes up and starts him off on the subject of LGBTQ. Having got him going, and it's easy enough to get an evangelical street preacher going on this subject, Munir then goes beetling off to fetch a constable on the grounds of being harassed. And this is the state in which this country now finds itself. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item about this awful case.